So this video is going to be my argument in favor of the mass storage system in Fortresscraft Evolved. I've seen a lot of hate of the mass storage system online, and I wanted to rebut some of those points in this video. Quick disclaimer, my base is a mess. This is the furthest I have taken any Fortresscraft base, let alone this mass storage idea. And as a result, there are many improvements that can be made from an organizational standpoint. But what I'm going to present is a means of making machine automation easier. My base is effectively split into 3 floors. The top floor is split into storage for a mix of bars and separately a mix of ores. In terms of the bars, you can visually identify the different stacks, the light blue being the tin, the green being the copper, red iron, and so on. I have all of the tier 1 and tier 2 ores in here, or bars in here, excuse me. The ores do not distinguish themselves by color, so it all looks like brown for the ore storage. The second floor is where all of my manufacturing and smelting is dealt with, pulling ores or bars down from the floor above it and pulling up coal for powering pyrothermic generators from the floor below. And finally, the last floor is where I store my combustibles, primarily coal, and where I also infuse that coal to improve its quality for use by the various machines, which I will demonstrate the efficiency of it in terms of upgrading the system at the end, towards the end of this video. So what we're going to build in this video is a machine that pulls bars from the 3rd floor to the 2nd floor and constructs nano disintegrators from the raw bars all the way through to the nano disintegrators. So I will have those on hand, automatically crafted. Looking at the recipe, we can see that we're going to need 2 MK2 power booster packs and 1 lightweight machine housing, which in its basic resources will boil down to 2 bars of copper for every 6 bars of tin, which is a 3-to-1 ratio, which is nice because that will allow us to use the 3-to-1 zipper merge to help keep our amounts of bars in the system even, so we don't get clogged up by extra resources. Now I'm going to fast forward through most of the construction of the machine itself, as it's not really relevant. But first, the coal that we're going to need to power the system, we're going to bring that up now. And one thing to note is that we're not particularly interested in the speed of this machine. I am designing it to be passively running all the time, so when I want to grab some nano disintegrators, I can just walk over, pull them out of the machine, and let it continue to build up to that 100 stockpile in a single hopper. I can either increase the stockpile at the end, or increase the power if I want it to work faster, but for this particular design, I'm alright with the speed of a single pyrothermic generator. And so I'm designing it around that idea. So I've already placed the storage hopper in the floor to hold the coal. I'll place the pyrothermic generator and the battery that's going to hold our power, and we're going to use just this one battery. We'll now need to go down to the bottom floor and set up the coal input to this storage hopper. pretty straightforward. A few conveyor lines straight down to bring it to the same level as the mass storage, and an output output onto this mass storage to get the resources out, and we'll give it the infused coal in order to send our little robot out to get us something to power the battery. Now the pyrothermic generator will build up a charge for our initial testing once we have the machine built. And now to fast forward through this nonsense. At this point my machine is complete. There's one error that I made that I'll have to fix in a minute, but first I'm going to connect the copper and tin bar outfeeds from the top floor into the system. So we're going to have to go up a floor, and we want to make sure that there's enough bars here, so we're going to add 3 outputs for each of these. It's important that the tin be on the right, because we have that 3-to-1 zipper. The tin has to be on the right. Assign the bar types. So back downstairs, in just a moment we're going to see the bars begin to come in through the top. Tin bars on what's now the left, but right in terms of the 3-to-1 zipper. But like I said, I have a issue with the layout and the hoppers on the tin plate side, so I'm going to fast forward through fixing that really quick. And give it a moment. Longer moment than I thought. Boom! There we go. Nano disintegrator, the first one through. Now we'll just seal up this hideous construction so nobody has to look at it. And there we are. Our machine is completed, including a little sign to designate what it is. So lastly, I've been using the standard infused coal for quite a while now, and I need to start upgrading to the crystal infused coal. And one of the other benefits to the way that I have the coal set up down here is most of this is already stored as infused coal. You can see we've stockpiled enough of the infused coal in there to keep powering it, but the amount of power is much more restricted. So we're going to start transforming some of our stockpile of infused coal into crystal infused coal. We're going to throw a couple of outputs here and infeed immediately back into the system. And I'm going to fast forward some of this construction. And just like that, we'll start taking some of that backlogged infused coal and turning it into crystal infused coal. But it's no good if we just simply turn it into crystal infused coal. We need to be using that coal. So for our output into our new machine, we're going to switch from the infused coal to the crystal infused coal on that output hopper by. So in conclusion, I think this system demonstrates how you can use the mass storage system to organize the machines in your factory in interesting and versatile ways. It is also a lot cheaper when you start storing many more items to use the, what is it, I think it's 4,610 per storage or per mass storage block, and while it takes more height to store, space is infinite, it's free, it's everywhere, and it's much easier to build to me with mass storage and expand your storage area by thousands in a couple of clicks than it is to go through the process of expanding storage hopper in feed and then adjusting that to be able to feed out to all of the conveyors you need for different machines. The mass storage is really the best way to transfer supplies to many machines that are running simultaneously. And yeah, it's also cheap to expand. And once you get the automation set up for everything. Well, let me know what you think. That's the end of this video.